I'm a fighter, always have been. In the ring and in business. 30 years of battles, rising, falling, rebuilding. I've made money, I've lost money, but it wasn't until I created Zapata Systems was I able to really climb my way out. But the toughest fight, it wasn't physical. It was watching money walk out the door week after week, whether to vendors charging too much or labor not justifying the revenue. That money stress, it doesn't always stay at work. It follows you home, turns into arguments, cold dinners, and broken peace. And then there's the IRS, back taxes, deadlines, pressure you can't punch your way out of. Zapata Systems shows you what you're really paying. It gives you control, leverage, and savings. This isn't about surviving. It's about winning. You're in a fight. Start acting like it. Zapata Systems. Fight smarter.
What's up, guys? We're live. Joe Zapata here. My boy, Gregg Valentino.
Giuseppe, holy Christ, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I know you were cutting it close, man.
Oh, Jesus, didn't have to reboot the goddamn computer. Sorry, guys, it's my fault.
Yep, what's going on? Greg Hoffman, this weekend is Ohio Buckeye State Barbell Classic. Are you going, Greg?
Do you know where I get that from, Greg? Is when I owned a gym. I owned 3 gyms in my day, built them all from scratch. Okay, my first gym, Peak Skill Fitness Center. That's where Lee Haney trained, Lee Labrada, Ron Love, Jack Bates, all these people, right? They all came there. And I ordered fucking a whole bunch of equipment from a company called Buckeye Barbell, and they fucked us really bad. I got a leg press with just the top and no press. You know what I mean? Like just a carriage part that moves. I'm like, where the fuck's the rest of the leg? They fucked me. And then when I called them, they were like a fucking bad company. They went out of business. They scammed us, took a lot of our money. I remember calling the Better Business Bureau, try to get my money. They fucked me hard. It was called Buckeye Barbell. That's why I make a joke when I always say it's a Buckeye Barbell Classic. Anyway,
Greg, is that you that in the chat? You said that message? That was you, right? That's really
that was me. That one's me, guys. That one's me. But the fucking
okay.
fake. Yes, that one was me because I was like, let's go because
okay, yeah. Ruben Sanchez, what's up, Ruben? Skip
Ruben, what's going on, my brother? Ruben, Skip.
Smalls is there. What's up, Smalls? And of course, our friend Dan.
Dan, what's going on, brother?
Brian there.
My boy Brian Pablo.
What is up, Brian? Hey, I was going to talk to you about the Yankees, man. What do you think?
I will tell you after tonight's game. I can't get too excited. Otherwise, I fucking, you know what I mean? I shit my pants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a good game.
It's strange thing is that, I think already that my son is a huge Red Sox fan, which is retarded because I took him to games. I have pictures of him, we went to the David Cone perfect game. I have pictures of him when he was a kid in Yankee Stadium wearing a shirt that says Red Sox suck, But when he got an intelligence, he was he was like an elite intelligence thing, right? And one of the guys in there played a cup of coffee with the Boston Red Sox. And I don't know why my son became his buddy, and they were like ass buddies. And this is like back in like 2000, I don't know if it was 11 or whenever the fucking Red Sox won the World Series, not the last one, the one before that. And my son just, I don't know, became a Red Sox fan. So all of a sudden I get a fucking text message. And my son has calves like Relief Priest. They're the exact same size, these giant diamond calves, right? And my father had them too. So he got it, I don't know. Whatever. And on that calf is this fucking Red Sox tattoo. And I go to him, what are you sending me a fucking tattoo of some dude with like a big calf and Red Sox? And he goes, that's my calf. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan, bro. Fuck the Yankees. So now, like when he talks to me, he's like, you guys. I'm like, you guys, So this may sound fucked up. I fucking hate the Red Sox, Joe. I would rather us own this. I almost would rather Yankees not make the playoffs unless they're going to beat the Red Sox. If we lose, I would rather them not make the playoffs than lose to the Red Sox. But the only tiny little pinpoint of sunshine with that is that if the Yankees lose, I almost feel all right for my son because I know he takes it so serious. He's such a psycho Red Sox, and he goes to Fenway, Joe. He's fucking crazy. So I know that he'll be really happy. So there's a tiny little piece of me that says, well, there's this like little bit of a silver lining to that. But otherwise, fuck the Red Sox.
Japa Kabub, I don't know what his name is, says, we love Gregg.
Thank you.
Writer says the Olympia is coming up, but don't know any other people in it. Bodybuilding is too boring these days.
Dude, I can't. Who
I
cares?
know Nick Walker.
Listen, Joe will tell you. Joe's been to some of these places. Listen to me. If you had Mr. Olympia sitting right there, okay, even or Nick Walker, one of those superstars, right? And then you had the Trent twins, or Sam, there will be a line around down the corner, around outside the building for the Trent twins, whereas the fucking Mr. Olympia said he'll have some people, not a lot. So the internet guys, when Rich Piana was alive and Joe Pietaro, sorry, I always do that. I do the same thing to Joe. But Joe Pietaro and I were there covering the show. He would have huge lines, and at the time Phil Heath was Mr. Olympia, and Phil Heath would be sitting there, and there'd be like a couple people at the table, whereas Piana had lines out the door. So people. I think the sport of bodybuilding. I think it's more the lifestyle now. People really are into the lifestyle. A lot of you guys train and work out and never want to go into a show, but you like being jacked. It's a lifestyle, right, Joe?
Yeah, Brian Pablo looks great. Ruben.
Brian Pablo's my boy.
Ruben jacked. Everyone works out and does it. Just it's crazy.
Actually, Brian, yes, Brian.
Brian, question, Gregg. What's your life advice regarding with taking risks in life and taking big risks, showing it could potentially delay your life? But all the cons are also worth taking it.
Listen to me. If you don't take the risk, you'll never you can't look in the mirror later on what you're saying. Even if you fail, at least you can say, I tried, right? One of the biggest things I always say is when you're older, when you're a fucking old man and you look back on your life, you have to be able to say, at least I went for it. At least I tried. Because if you don't try, you'll never know what could be. It's a risk, but I say go for it anyway. It could set you back a little bit. I don't know what your risk is, so it depends on what you're talking about. But if you got to be able to live with yourself. Okay, I have always taken the risks. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's the way it goes. You understand what I mean? But if you don't try, you'll never know. And then you have to be able to. How can you look at yourself when you're older if you don't try? Do you understand? Like you might not. You'll regret it if you don't try. I say go for it. Whatever it is, go for it. You really have nothing to lose because whatever it is that you lose, there's always a silver lining to every cloud. I mean, look at God. We were just talking to Joe yesterday. Joe Pietaro, right? Not Joe Zapata. You're Joe Zapata. And on RX, we were talking about Amin. Right now, Amin's got to go to jail.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but I was going to wait.
But you know what's funny, Joe? The silver lining to Amin is that he may not see it right now because he's got to go to jail. But, I know that there's a real documentary going to be done with this. And I know that Tony Hughes is in it. Tony just talked to me. I'm just saying there's a lot. Like, he'll write a book and he could sell. And, there's a silver lining to the worst cloud. Every dark cloud has a silver lining. You have no idea. Myself included, if I didn't get an arrest and all that shit, and my arm didn't, get pulled up with the giant, what do you call it, hematoma and all that shit, right? That got me on the map. Now, of course, people say Synthol. I don't care, whatever you want to think it is. It's not. It was hematoma blood. It was only one arm, so it's not like I shot one arm. But whatever. If I didn't go, if that didn't happen to me, and going to jail and doing all the shit, which, was all over television. It actually got me on a lot of shows. So I might not be where I am in the sport of bodybuilding where I got a chance to make a living and doing all that shit from it. You know what I mean? So sometimes you don't realize, even if your girlfriend dumps you, okay, and she's got big tits and she's hot as hell and you guys have wicked sex, you don't realize that sometimes when one door closes, another opens. And you have to fucking see that. You can't be afraid of risks and you can't be afraid of, whatever. So a failure, you learn from your failure. And sometimes failure leads to other things.
Yeah. I feel bad for me. I do feel bad for
him. Joe, I had a book. Your brother and I did a whole show on it. George, you know what I mean? We talked about the book and, my book's a top seller, even though, I got a bad contract. So every dark cloud is a silver lining. There you go.
Anthony D said, "Hey guys."
Anthony T.
Brian said the risks are about a girl. Oh, I had a feeling it might have been about a girl.
Brian, and there's no risks. You know why? Because there's a ton of girls out there. There's a million girls. And if it fails with this one, there's another one out there. I know you think sometimes like this is the one, but she's so hot and I'm into her or whatever, you know. It doesn't matter. There'll be another one if it fails. But I would go for it anyway. You know what I mean? If that's what it boils down to. You can't you guys don't understand. There's a billions of girls on this planet. You think you can't live without one? Joe, you've had your heart broken, right?
Of course.
You know, Joe and I were both once married but divorced. I thought when I married my wife, this is it. This is the one. You know what I mean? And then you go through a rotten divorce, and a girl that once loved you to death and held you up here now fucking wishes death on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you can't. That's not a risk. There's too many other girls. Do you understand? If this goes south, I hope whatever it is that you're risking, I hope it works out for you, Brian. But you got to know, keep your chin up. You're a good man, okay? And so you're a good catch for her. And if it doesn't work out with her, trust me, there is another one out there. You may not think so at the time. I love her so much, I can't. You know, a lot of guys feel that way. And then all of a sudden, time passes and they're with another girl.
Yep. Let's see. We got Man's divorce lawyer. Get Charlie Arms on before he's gone, since Dave the Jew won't bring him back because he wants to talk about himself.
That's funny. I have a feeling that lawyer knows Charlie Arms, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Greg, 100%. What does Brian say? Greg, your arrest, as bad as it may have seemed, you still came out on the other end stronger and alive today. Thank you. Greg,
yes, and you know what it is? I wrote a book about it, and my arrest was on TV, so people saw it. And look at that fucking freak, and they use it on TV shows, and they use it. So what happens is you turn it into a positive. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's look at what's his name there? What's Danny Trejo? Spent time in jail, was prison, thought his life was fucking over. Okay. All of a sudden, the guy in jail says, "Hey, listen, when you get out, I have, you know, I'm actually producing in movies and this and that, the other thing." And then he tells his story, and now you never know. But you got to keep your eyes open, and you got to always have an open mind to things. You understand?
Yeah, when does Amin have to turn himself
He's not
in?
sure yet. He hasn't been sent. He hasn't been like, they haven't given him his due date yet, where you have to fucking report. But the thing is, Amin's actually a good guy, you guys.
They're trying to make an example.
I know personally. They're making an example of him. But if he's smart, dude, if you got to go to jail for 3 years, sit in that fucking prison and every day write a page for a book. Understand what? That's 300 fucking pages. Every day, write a page and a half for a book. Write everything down. Bring it to another guy who, that actually can put it all together and make, like a co-writer. And they will make it into a book and sell that story. Do you understand? It works. Believe me. Yeah. And Amin is trained. Listen, Amin is in with a lot of fucking people. Like, I mean, he trains Roger Stone. He's very close with Roger Stone. There's a lot of people. Like, he can really work this into something really big. And that's my recommendation. No matter what it is, you guys, you turn it into a positive. If you lose your job, there's other jobs that you'd be shocked what can happen, But just,
the other thing I heard about Andy Hammond's, I guess, parents were there and they kind of.
I don't blame Andy. Listen. Andy Hammond was such a good guy. Joe, you know me, I'm foul-mouthed and everything like that. I throw the middle fingers a lot of times in pictures. When I would do that, I'd be like, "Yo, dude, let's do the minute." And he's like, no, I can't do that. Kids sometimes see this stuff. And I would talk foul. I used to do interviews, me and him, and I would do an interview with him. It would never curse.
Wow. Never
curse. Now, whether he curses in the gym around people, that's one thing. But he never cursed because he used to say little kids. He was a really good guy. And he was showing me this shit on his phone, like, his family was about to do like a reality show, like, like TLC did with me. They wanted to do a reality show because his sons lift weights, his wife, everybody in the family was really into fitness. So he was a good guy. This was a huge, huge blunder. Believe me, this is a bad mistake. And I don't blame Andy Hammond's parents. I love him, I think he's a great, but I don't blame Andy Hammond's parents. I'd want him to fucking rot in jail if it was my kid.
Yep. Shine S said, nice, bro. Hope health is good. Skip said, he'll be right back. Quick shower, but listening afterwards. Anthony D said,
Skip, watch his balls. Go ahead.
Anthony said all the stories about Gregg using Synthol is complete BS. Bomb Bonham told me personally that Bob sold a few bottles in his gym and Gregg never used it.
Yeah. Well, Bob knows. Bob was my best friend. The thing is, you know what? No such thing as bad publicity. All the people thought it did Synthol, put me on the map. In other words, like, you got to turn a positive into negative. I didn't use Synthol. I don't give a shit. I'm here telling you, I'll fucking tranny if she's hot in the ass. You understand what I'm saying? You think I'm going to hide the fact that I do Synthol? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know, I don't give a shit. So, you know, that's the way it is.
Yeah. Brian said, wow, you and Joe got divorced. Yep. And he says, and thank you, Gregg, always.
Just listen. You got to listen to me, all of you. Think of yourself as, dude, I am prime rib. I'm a tomahawk steak. I don't deserve to be treated like hamburger meat. Do you understand? So in other words, you're a good man. You're a good person. You know your worth. If it doesn't work out with her, it's her loss, not yours. Do you understand? You're a good guy, Brian. Just the shit I've had, my interactions with you, I really like you. You know what I mean? And I'm fond of you. So I really believe, I would love to meet you in person. You already know that. I really believe that if it doesn't work out, it's her loss. But you will find somebody else that will gobble you up. There's other girls out there say, a guy like him, I need a guy like that. Mm-hmm. So just know that.
Yep.
Keep your chin up and carry yourself the way, you know, with respect and the way you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? Keep your chin up always.
Yep. Ja said, I can see Neckzilla up there in the top 10, kind of Mr. Olympia. He looks like a rhino.
Listen, I don't know anything about these guys, my friend, but I can tell you this much. I saw the guy Neckzilla. These guys are so big. It's like fucking, they almost all look the same. Mm-hmm. I mean, every one of them have thighs like garbage pails. You know what I mean? They're all like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Amanda's the worst. Said, don't drop the soap, homie. Scrubber dub. Independent Dream says, Gregg, how did not get a stroke with all that high doses of steroids? How did you not get a stroke?
How did you not get a stroke? I know you guys don't understand this, but I was on steroids for about 5-6 years, maybe, you know what I mean? But I did massive amounts. You're right. And I started it in 1995 when I was 35. And then I got arrested 5 years later. And that put the end. But when I was, just before I was arrested, I went to a doctor and I was, you know, like, my doctor told me, dude, your liver enzymes are off the fucking chart. And I was already pissing brown. You know what I mean? So maybe the arrest saved my life. You know, mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Sitting in jail, you can't take steroids. But what I'm saying to you is just that, you know, you're right. But I was stupid. I could do that now. Just like when people say, oh, he's starting Synthol, then why don't I look like that now? My arms aren't fucking like that. You know what I mean? Like, you understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever.
Ruben says, it pisses me off when I see a video that include Gregg saying that he uses Synthol. That's true.
Where did I ever say use Synthol?
Yeah, I see videos all over the place that say that people say you did use Synthol.
Well, they could say what I mean. Listen,
you never do.
You know what's funny? When I see that big balloon arm, okay, which was that's the arm I drained of blood in TLC. Okay, it's blood. There was no oil that came out of that arm. There was no pus. But whatever. Okay, but if I didn't know me, I might think the same thing. Do you understand? But it was one arm. It wasn't like I looked like that those guys from fucking Brazil. But if that's what they want to look like, listen. If that's what they want to, who cares? I did a fucking show. Lucia was with me. I did a show for what was that lady's name? It was a television show. It was on TV. She had her own TV show on channel like 11 or whatever. The Trisha show. And she had a guy on there that had like horns and fucking split tongue and fucking
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, listen. I wouldn't do that. That's ugly. And it looks ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. But if that's what he wants to look like, who the fuck, the same thing with chicks with fucking two like giant basketballs. You know what I mean? That looks so like this and they stick out from side. But if that's what you want to look like, I don't give a shit. You know?
Mike M says, what's up, guys? What's up, Mike? Brian.
Mike, what are you doing? Brian again.
Up, Brian? I much appreciate Gregg and Joe. I remember I've been following you all this time and to this day. Would love to meet you in person. Trust me. And the trouble I was talking about, I've been away, is this.
Listen, you can't, look, Brian, if you have been putting yourself like in a closet, so to speak, because you're having issues with a girl or something like that, do you know what you're doing to yourself? You're punishing yourself. You're banging your head against a wall over a situation that maybe you can't control. You guys make me laugh. Listen, not you, but what I'm saying is, Some of you guys, like if your girlfriend was caught, cheating on you. Now it's different if your friend was cheating on her, if your friend was banging her, your brother or somebody like that. I understand. But some strange guy, he has no allegiance to you. He doesn't even know you. Okay. I live by a different creed. I wouldn't fuck around with a girl who has a boyfriend. But if they do, or if you have no you can't force a girl. No, you're gonna fucking love me. You're not gonna go out with any other guy. Dude, she doesn't want to be with you. Bye. Maybe if you dump her and you say, hey, look, go your own way, whatever. All of a sudden now she wants you. But then I wouldn't go back with her because that's only because she wants something that she can't have. I'm just saying to you, you're beating yourself up over somebody. If they don't feel the same way, moveon.com. It's not the end of the world. There's other girls out there. There's a girl who would cherish you. You're a good man, Brian. I know you. You and I've had interactions for a while now. You know that. And I know you. I know that your intentions are good. You're a good man. There's no way, and you're a smart guy. So there's no way. If this girl doesn't appreciate you, even though you have strong feelings for her, love yourself more. Love yourself more. Have the balls to say, you know what? I'm chasing a parked car here. What happened with that? I hear. Can you hear me back? I hear interference. Oh, I heard interference. I heard my voice say, you're chasing a parked car. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're going, it's not worth it. If that's the case, if she's giving you a hard time and she's not really, I don't know what I want. Dude, you look, do you want this slice of pizza? You hungry? No, I'm not hungry. Okay, then you don't want it. You know what you want. That whole I don't know what I want anytime, that's bullshit. That's just a way of fucking like prolonging the fucking end. Do you understand? If it's love yourself more. Look at yourself in the mirror as, dude, I'm fucking prime rib, bro. I am fucking a tomahawk steak. You're treating me like hamburger. I am not going to be treated. I don't care how much you think she's beautiful, how much you love her. You'll get over it. You don't realize it. Everybody thinks they ain't getting over it, but you get over it. You understand? Yep. Joe and I were once both married, and it was a time where, Joe, you couldn't wait to see your wife. When you first started dating her, you thought, oh, this is the one. And look, now we're like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, right?
Yep. Amanda's divorce lawyer says, give us your ab shot, Greg.
Yeah.
Yep. Brian said, thank you, bro. What's it? Anthony D said, he said, what did he say? Greg had an awesome physique as a teen, aka the pullover pick when he had long curly hair.
Thank you. Yeah, when I had the Sam Salik hair. I had it before he did. I had that because that was the thing in the 70s. Nobody had short hair. We all had long. I have curly hair naturally, so I had the big fucking mop. But thank you, Anthony D. That's from eating all those tomato pies.
William Allen said, did you see the Jimmy Kimmel ratings drop like a ton?
Yeah, we knew that. Listen, of course, the first show, everybody's going to be like, we got to watch. What's he going to say today? You know what I mean? But we knew that was going to happen. Even Ron Simmons says, damn.
Yeah, damn, Sam. What did George say? George said, Brian, I've had the worst divorce. I'm in a great place. Sometimes the best are on the other side of the small amount of pain you go through. Don't take those crumbs.
Brian, listen to me. And George is right. Joe will tell you, and I will tell you. We went through a divorce. We have kids. So that affects the kid. You don't have no kids that I know of with this girl. So you have to really, trust me, if it doesn't work, if it works, God bless you. But you can't I call it the Cinderella theory, right? The glass slipper. Here I got this glass slipper. Remember the king? He was trying to make it fit on all these chicks, right? The prince. The thing is, if you got a size 6 glass slipper and her foot is a size 8, no matter how much you're trying to make that fit, she's not the right one. Do you understand that? If you're making concessions to make it work, well, she says, I need to start doing more of this. And she says, I start needing to do more of that. And you're already fucking laying down, letting her walk all over you. No go, bro. It's no good. You're trying to make a fucking glass slipper fit a foot that doesn't fit. If you're trying to make it fit, you're only fooling yourself and hurting yourself. Don't worry. Of course, it's going to hurt. I lost her. I love her. But you're going to get over that. Trust me. It happens.
Yep. Brian said, thank you for sharing that, George. Really appreciate that. Then we got, what did he say? CK said, Greg, no disrespect. There are pros currently that have all the attributes of classic bodybuilders, only bigger, stronger, and more conditioned. Have you seen the aesthetics of Samson and Keon?
No, but I know those. I've seen. I don't know who I seen those guys, but I don't know who the fuck they are. Like I mean, I've seen those names. I know the names. I don't know who they fuck. Like if you said which one's which, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But they do. Listen, CK. Nobody's. You don't have to say. I agree with you. Classic bodybuilding looks way better than those guys. I seen that shit. You know, one time when I had a fucking great physique when I was a natural bodybuilder. I had that, you know, that Bumstead look. I had to really go back and look at my pictures. Then when I got juiced out of my mind, I'm shooting shit all over the place. I got so much. I weighed 278. You know what I'm saying? I put on 100 pounds. I was walking down the boardwalk at Seaside Heights, right? And I was so big, people were freaking out, like, holy shit. This fucking guy, this black kid came by, and he was like I don't know, there was no physique at that time, but he would have been a physique guy. He had the tiny waist like I used to have, tiny waist, and he wasn't as big as me, but he had a gorgeous physique. And I remember one guy going, dude, that guy's, you know, he said it loud enough for me to hear. He goes, that guy's fucking huge, but that guy looks better. And I was like, you know what? He's right. I looked better when I was a natural bodybuilder. I did. You know, and I'm not against steroids. I'm all for steroids. It's just that I wouldn't do them the same way, and I wouldn't do the amounts I did. But the point of the matter is, I agree with you. I think physique is way better than bodybuilding today. They've gone too far. They've gone way too far.
Yeah, you used to always wear the cutoff like Yankee shirt, and people would see you with the shirt.
I would wear no shirt. I'd walk around with a fucking big willy all the time, you know. But the thing is, you know, I look like I'm short, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm 5'6", you know, and now I might have even shrunk. Oh no, it's because I'm 65. Back then I was like, I'm 40 and stuff, you know, in 30s. But the thing is, you know, when you're that big, I was so fucking big. You know what I mean? It just didn't look good. You know what I mean? Look, you guys freak out over Nexzilla, Big Rammy, and the fucking Nick Walker. But trust me, if they walked down the boardwalk, people would be going just like they did with me, like, holy shit, my legs were like fucking, holy shit. But then some fucking Keon guy or one of them other guys that you just said goes in there with this tiny waist. He's walking with no shirt on. He's got this fucking V-tape, his tiny waist, you know, little bulby legs, tiny ass and shit. They're going to be like, oh, look at that. Now that guy looks good. This guy, that's too much. That's exactly what you hear.
Mike M said she needs an enema. Yeah, she does, Mike M. She does. So, Greg, I was going to tell you, Dave was at your house, huh? He came over.
Yes, Dave was at my house. He called me up. He's like, bro, I want to come over to the house. And he was like, holy shit. He couldn't believe it. He's like, holy Christ, you're, you know, because I organized a lot more shit, you know, since you were here, Joe. But I'm just saying, he was like, wow, you're very organized and all this shit. And he was loving, like, he went in a room and he saw all that shit. You know, you know her. I don't have to tell you, but and he saw all the crazy shit and all the goth stuff that we have and all that. So he was like, you know, I could tell you a few things, but he doesn't want me to talk about it here. But I'll tell you later. You know what I mean?
You tell me later.
You know, I almost slipped on there, and he was like, you know, when we were talking. But I'll tell you a few things. It was, but he had a really good time. Yeah.
So what was he doing up there? Visiting some people?
That's what I'll have to tell you later. Yes, he's seeing someone, but and they live near me. So, but the thing is that when he came here, he's like, oh, fuck it, because he had followed GPS, you know, and he's like, wait, which house? And he sees the fucking statues. He's like, this has got to be it. And of course, you know.
Yes, that's the first thing you see when you go down your block. I mean, I passed it 3 times just to like look to make sure it was a house, not a cemetery.
It looked like a cemetery, right? All the fucking statues and shit.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. Amanda's the Rose Laura says, what's bodybuilder stole Tom Platt's girlfriend before the 80 Mr. Olympia?
Wait, say that. What bodybuilder? Oh, no. I don't know who stole Tom Platz's girlfriend. Like, I can tell who stole. He stole Jeep Swenson's girl.
But I think someone stole his girlfriend too. I think
maybe. All I know is he got a beating for it. I got there. I was at Gold's Gym. I got there after it happened. I didn't see it, but I saw like kind of the aftermath of it in the parking lot. Like he was all like, you know, upset, and there was people out there, and there was like all chaos. And I was like, "What happened?" Jeep Swenson just went off on Tom over I think it was the girl Cheryl. I think it was a long time ago, but you know,
he was a big dude, Jeep Swenson. He was a big dude.
Dude, you have seen him in person. These guys were like, you guys don't know. And what was he like? Everybody's told to me. He's like 6'6", fucking, You know, you think that Mountain and those guys are big?
Really?
Oh my God. I get a picture, me and Rodney Roller standing on 2 chairs next to what's his name? Oh my God. Joe, help me out. What's the big
Thor?
No, the other one. The other big guy. Jesus
Mark
Christ.
Henry?
No, I know Mark. Mark and I are good friends. Joe, what's the big kid? The other big kid that you see now? He wrestles people, he fights them. He won a strongman.
Eddie Hall.
No, he's shorter. This guy's real tall, like 6'9". What the fuck's his name?
I don't know.
You know him, he's super famous. So wait,
Anthony.
oh, come on, guys. You know who I'm talking. Some of you guys remember
Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw. Who said that?
Go.
Thank
Who's
you.
that?
Thank you, my brother.
Capuchon said that.
Thank
Brian
you.
Shaw.
Yes,
Yeah,
Brian Shaw. Good guy, really good guy. Jeep Swenson was way bigger than him. But this fucking guy, Brian, me and Rodney Roller were standing on our chairs, fucking around with him. You know what I mean? This is before he was like even famous. He was younger then. He had the curly hair and shit, but he was a monster too.
Yeah. Brian Shaw's in the hospital, actually. He's got some stuff going on.
See, you know what happens, you guys? You don't understand. That's why you see these guys, and then all of a sudden you don't see them anymore. Like Big Ram, they compete like for 5-6 years. I don't know what happened to Big Ram. I'm just saying, but when you see these guys, they compete, and then all of a sudden for 5-6 years, and then all of a sudden for some reason you hear, oh, they got an injury or whatever. But that's not really an injury. They're all fucking juicing because maybe the kidneys or liver were a little fucked up. Because when you do a lot of stuff, your blood pressure goes up, and when your blood pressure goes up, the kidneys are in trouble, and that's what can kill people is the blood pressure.
Yep.
You can have a stroke. You know?
Yep. Anthony D said his Tom Platt's training partner stole his wife. That's who it was.
Okay, yeah. You know what? Now that you say that, Anthony, I think I do remember that, but it's payback because I know that he was with that girl Cheryl for a while. Whatever. I think it was Cheryl. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but I remember it was Jeep Swenson's girl.
Yep. Amanda said, Greg, why don't you ever post pics from when you first started gear before the crazy arms?
I did. I've posted many pictures. I've posted
pictures of you before, like crazy.
Yeah, but I had just one, the last picture of me natural. And people like, you're not natural, man. Oh, she said, no matter what I do, I'm not going to win. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, I did. I posted those pictures.
I've seen them. Yeah, crazy. A bunch of them. I was going to ask you, Mets collapse. Is that the biggest disappointment ever, do you think? Because I was having an argument with a Yankees fan, and he was saying, oh, Yankees, they're going to get swept. I said, but, they're going to lose
the biggest, I mean, that's a bad collapse. Obviously, the worst is when the Yankees lost those 4 straight to the Red Sox. I mean, that was bad. The other thing is the Mets also collapsed under when, what's his name was Randolph, Willie Randolph. They were like 10 games away, 10 games out, and they lost like 10 games straight. Another team won 10 games, and they lost they lost the playoffs because they didn't even make the playoffs because of that.
Yeah, they have the highest payroll in baseball, right? And last year they were 2 games away from winning.
You give Juan Soto $765 million, and he batted 268. A lot of guys bat 268. You know what I'm saying? Hold on 1 second. I got to pee again. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm like fucking hyper. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll get into something. I'm going to tell you something that makes no sense.
Yeah, no problem.
Hold on.
All right, guys. So, guys, if you can, like and subscribe. Also, I have an interview with Jimmy Wang Yang, who's a former WWE superstar. I just dropped that on my channel. He's a real cool guy. He's got a book that's coming out. And I'm going to be having Mark Henry come on soon, and Diamond Dallas Page, who's a Jersey guy. I just had D'Lo Brown. George says the biggest collapse was the Angels collapse in AL West. Seattle ended up winning. Yeah, I remember that one. Winning. Yep, that's right. I remember that one. Yep, that was a pretty good one. Yeah, so guys, I'm going to have a bunch of other wrestlers I'm going to interview. Subscribe to Diz and Los, my brother's channel. That's another channel. He's talking all sports. So if you guys can watch that, that drops on Wednesdays also. And we're going to have Greg come back here after he takes his piss.
I'm right here. Hold on. I'm coming to get my water. Joe, I'll give you guys a question for you sports guys. And your brother Diz might be able to fucking figure this shit out. Okay?
Go ahead.
Listen, this is the part that makes me just at baseball. Listen to this. This year, 5 guys batted 300. That's it. Only 5 guys in all of baseball batted 300.
Get out of here. I did not know that.
Joe, everybody bats right now. 250 is considered a good batting average. I mean, most of your all-stars batted like 250. When I was young, anything under 275, you sucked. Now listen, here's back when you guys remember the 1998 Yankees, almost every one of them batted 300. Now, even Scott Brocious at one point batted 300, and he was your number 9 hitter.
Yeah, ferocious Brocious.
Now listen, here's the fucking thing. This is the part that that blow your mind. 4 guys in the major leagues. 4. This is unheard of. 4 guys. Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh, Kyle Schwarber, as they say in fucking Boston, and Ohtani all had 50 home runs. 4 guys had 50 fucking home runs. Wow. Do you know how hard it is to hit 50 home runs in the history of baseball? In the history of baseball, that's unfucking heard of. It's very few guys have even hit 50. Now you got 4 guys.
That's pretty crazy. I still think Judge should win the MVP compared to Cal.
Dude, hold on. I'm taking a minute for him.
Because people will say, "Oh, Raleigh, Seattle, this and that." You know, as a
catcher. No, listen to me. Cal Raleigh, I get he's the catcher, but he's batting 248. I think he finished. And that's after getting a hitting streak at the end there, because he was batting 242 for a while. 248. I put up a whole thing about these 2 guys. His OPS is 9 something. Judge's OPS is 12. His WAR is a whole point under Aaron Judge. Wins above replacement. Judge's batting average. He batted 248. Judge's batting average was 331. 331. Yep. The only 2 things he had Judge beat on, if you want to get technical, I think he had 1 more stolen base. Judge walked more than double the amount of times. Judge had 37 intentional. He had 16. Here's the thing. Judge struck out less, and Judge had way more hits than he had. He had like 30 or 40 more hits, actual hits. You can't compare. And Judge was playing hurt. Okay? Judge was hurt, playing hurt. You cannot compare. There's no how you're going to give the MVP to a guy he hit 60 home runs. And he had Judge beating RBIs because he had 60 home runs. And Judge, unfortunately, most of his home runs come in the first inning, which I hate. That's A-Rod-ish. You know, matter of fact, he broke A-Rod's record. A-Rod had 19 first inning home runs, and he broke it. He has 20, I think. But here's the thing. You're going to give the MVP trophy to a guy who batted 248 just because he hit 60 home runs? Are you crazy? Do you know that the year that Mark McGwire hit 70, he didn't get no fucking MVP trophy?
Yep. Mike M says Ohtani is the best overall. And Ohtani is very good, of course. Ohtani is one of the best.
It's right there with him and Judge. You have to, Ohtani pitches, so that changes, that. But Babe Ruth, dude, Babe Ruth was Babe Ruth was so far superior to all those guys. He averaged a home run 1 every 9 at bats. Okay. Babe Ruth pitched. Babe Ruth once pitched a game in 1927. He hadn't pitched in like 6-7 years, and he pitched a 5-hitter. It's just like mind blowing. The guy was unbelievable. He actually spent the first part of his career with the Red Sox. He was a pitcher. They didn't play him all the time. He played because he was such a great. He was the best pitcher in a baseball.
Yep. Knight Rider says, "Have you guys ever watched cricket?" Nope.
No.
Never watched it.
No.
Never watched it.
What are you, English or something?
Joe Mataraz's Venom said, "Greg, I watched the episode of Trial by Media that covers the killing of Amadou Diallo. Do you remember all that?
Amadou Diallo. Yeah, what about it? Yes.
Yeah, your thoughts of all that. Thoughts on Rudy Giuliani?
Amadou Diallo's the one who had the beeper, I think, in his hand, and they thought he had a gun and he shot him. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that? I don't know. I'd have to watch all the evidence. It's tough, I mean, did he deserve to get shot 40-something? I think 49 times, was it? 46 or something like that they shot? I mean, that's a little excessive. But the cops are fucking. I'm pro cop, so I feel like the cops get a bad rap, especially today. I've seen a girl. They showed a girl during the COVID spit right in a cop's face at NYPD. A young guy spit in his face, and he pushed her after she spit, and she fell down, and he lost his job for that. I think he even got arrested because they're crazy today. The Democrats are fucking. They're pro-criminal. I mean, they don't like cops. I mean, I want to see if Mundami wins, how he's gonna have like counselors go in when there's like, first of all, the worst thing is domestic disputes, right? More cops, when you hear guys getting shot, well, they were responding, not even NYPD. I'm talking about cops anywhere. In bumfuck wherever you live, right? Cornstalk, USA.
Mm-hmm.
Cops arrived at such and such a house. There was a domestic dispute. Guys waiting for them with a gun, start shooting them while they're coming on the front lawn, right? So you're going to send fucking counselors. What's bothering you? Can you talk? Can you please put the knife down? Take the knife off your wife's neck. Can we talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
You were worth something. God loves you. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Teach a savage.
Nope.
Listen. It's not really related, but maybe I know, and I'm relating this in my way. Paul Mosley, the guy that looks like fucking, he looks like Frank Zappa. He's always, he's the guy from the Amazon, and he's always on Joe Rogan, and he tells the story how some like guy made friends with the native people who are savages, right? They have no contact with the outside world, but he would leave food for them and different things. Here's spoons. I leave, and he would do that. And they would come over, and eventually they saw who he is, and they would look at him, and he would hand them foods and watermelons and everything like that, all kinds of crazy shit, bananas, right? And they would take it from him, and they would do it all the time. And then one day, he went to give them the stuff, and he never came back home. And they sent out people looking for him, and they found him, and there was all arrows in him. You know why? Because the savage is a savage. You understand? That's what they do. Just one day, they just decide, you know what? Fuck you. Meanwhile, he's feeding them. You understand?
Yep.
That's
Mike
the point I'm trying to make.
Death of social workers will be on the rise. Of social workers will be on the rise.
It's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Listen, it is so stupid. It is so stupid. How are you going to have... I don't know. You can't have a fucking social worker stopping this stuff. You need NYPD. He's against NYPD guy. But wait till one of his family. He wants to have socialized like food, stores and shit. Like we go to a food store and the stuff is real cheap or free or whatever the fuck. You know what you're gonna get? Yes, I'd like the skim milk made from oats, and they're gonna be like, you know what you're gonna get? You're gonna get this. This is the fucking milk you're gonna get, the cow's milk. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get. You're gonna get what they give you. They're not gonna be like, oh yeah, so lactate is over in aisle 3. It's not gonna happen.
Nope.
You understand? It's socialized food. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be what you want.
Greg, it says here, Amanda, would you still be a cop if it didn't have the eye injury?
I might have. You know what it is? I was a do-nothing cop, okay, to be honest with you. I did like vehicle traffic, and I did it at night where there was nobody there. I used to fuck my girlfriend, who became my wife, in the police car. I could tell you great stories. I would have, but I was bored with it. I might have liked to looking back, if I had to do over, yes, because then I'd have a pension, and I could be sitting here like Joe Pietaro right now, and making well over $100,000 a year for doing nothing. You understand? Wow. Joe's got a pension, and I could have got a pension, but I wasn't thinking like back then. I opened a gym. I was like, fuck this shit. I got my own gym, bro. You know what I mean? But you don't have life. What you do, what any of you young guys, what you do today when you're young, okay, reflects what happens when you're my age. I made a lot of money selling drugs and shit. I had so much fucking money. I had millions. Trust me, I had millions. I was like this. But then it all comes tumbling down, and now I'm 65 years old. You know what I'm saying? And then, you're like, holy shit, am I gonna have to sell my ass to fucking eat? You understand what I'm saying? So what you do when you're young affects what happens later on. You get a good job, get a good job with a pension. That's a grip to any civil service, cop, fireman, post office. Any of those things are great fucking jobs, because down the road, and you know what? When you want to buy a house, they see you're a cop, you're a postman, you're a fireman, you're one of those civil service jobs. They give it a loan right away, because that's a legit job. You know what I'm saying? You have no idea. The perks for that are amazing. So if I had to do over Amanda's lawyer, yes, if I had to do over again, I would have stayed on the by now. That was 1984. It was only on for 84 to 86. So it was 2 years. So right now it would be, I don't know how many years, Joe. What are we looking at? Like fucking 50 years. I'd probably be chief of police. But the thing is, yes, I would, if I had to do over again, yes, I would stay. But back then, if you asked me if I didn't hurt my eye, I had just opened a gym and I was actually contemplating, like, fuck this shit. I don't need to sit in the middle of the fucking highway looking for some asshole. Like, there's nobody going by. I was doing nights, but that's because I had the shit job. You know what I mean? I was, low man on a totem pole. If they said go out and take out the garbage, I would have had to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. By the way, do you know they're doing a documentary or a movie about the mafia cops? Remember the New York mafia cops?
Yeah.
Yes. And Stephen Caracappa.
Yeah, Caracappa and Imperato, whatever the fuck his name is, the big fat bastard. Yes.
Yes. He was in Goodfellas as an actor, an extra. And then they got arrested.
That's what killed him, though. That's what got him. Because he was bragging, going on talk shows, and he was bragging. And then that guy's mother, the last one to see when he killed that fucking guy, and the guy disappeared. Yep. She was like, wait, that's the guy that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they brought him to Gas Pipe, Anthony Casso.
Yep.
And then he beat him and paid $4,000 a week or something.
They were making so much money.
Yeah.
And he died in prison. You know why? Because he gloated. If he wouldn't have fucking gloated and tried to make himself like a fucking celebrity, they never would have got him.
Yep. Joe Matarat says, "What do you think about Rudy Giuliani back in the day?"
I mean, he was great for New York. But I didn't like it because he cleaned up the city. I liked it dirty with all the prostitutes and the nasty shit. But he cleaned that up.
He did.
It was good. But I mean, look at him now. He looks like a fool. First of all, he looks like fucking Igor, and she's over like hunched over. But the other thing is that he, did you see him on like Borat or whatever the fuck that shit was? I
remember that. Yeah, Borat.
God, he's in there with a prostitute undoing his pants and shit. And he said, "No, I was just tucking in. I was like opening my bed." No, you weren't. You were laying on a bed like this. I saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that. They had to cut that out or something, but it came out.
They didn't cut it. It was there.
It was there. Yeah, something like that. He was telling them to cut it out or something. He was trying to get them to do that. But you see the other guy, is the guy's running for mayor, Curtis Sliwa?
Yeah, what about him?
Is he running for mayor still?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Would you see? Listen, Curtis Sliwa would make the best mayor in New York ever. He would clean it up. Everything would be great. But he's horrible. Nobody likes him. He's what do you say there? What do you know there, Joe? Big Joe, what are you doing? We're gonna clean up New York. Nobody likes that. He's just not a likable guy. He'll never win. He gets like 4% of the vote.
Yeah, I see that. The Guardian Angels and stuff.
Listen, he has great ideas. He would make a great mayor, but he's not likable. Do you understand? He's not likable, and he's too hard-nosed. He's a hard-nosed guy. What do you say there? What do you know? Gotti tried to kill him. He was shot 6 times. Junior Gotti, supposedly, is the one.
Yep. Let's see. Gregg, you would have made a great cop. Huge heart and super smarts.
I didn't have any really big insights. There's nothing great I could tell you about those days, but I think I was a pretty good cop. I let I understood, I let people go for things that I could have fucked them with. I was in on an arrest with a guy that I knew, which sucked because I had no say in it. He had pot, and we caught, he was driving fast. We pulled him over and he had the marijuana. But the guy I was driving with, it was a guy from the gym, and I knew him, and he kept saying to me, "Dude, get me out of this, help me out." And I'm like, I can't, because that guy was my boss, the one that was driving. Like I was with a sergeant. I can't say, "Hey, can you let him go?" Because, and he was a prick. You know what I'm saying? I felt bad about that, but there's nothing I could do. I would have let him go. I did a few little instances. I let other people get away with shit, but no, I couldn't do that one.
Yep. Zen said, "Yo, Joey Merlino too doesn't like him. LOL. Long mob history, I guess."
Doesn't like who?
I guess probably Giuliani.
Sliwa or Giuliani?
Or maybe
Slee was a hard. Again, do you ever see him talk? So let me tell you something. Joe Zapata, this way he talks. He'll talk to you, call you Joe Zapata. Listen, let me tell you, there, Joe Zapata. We go over there in New York City. We're gonna clean it up. We're gonna get the gangbangers out of there. We're gonna go down in the subway. And you're like, dude, you talk like that. It's hard to, still with the red beret on his head. Don't smile, get stared. And it's like, what do you say? What do you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's just not likable. He would make a great mayor, though. He has his ideas and his thoughts, and he's a very law enforcement guy. But he's not, He's not. Nobody's going to vote for him.
Yeah, I actually remember seeing him one time on the subway, like in doing the whole Guardian Angels.
Oh,
like
I saw the Guardian Angels. I didn't see him.
Yeah, I saw him with the Guardian Angels going down one of the subways years ago. I mean, talking to him years ago.
Yeah, I used to see them all the time.
But you know, you would see them all the time doing the Guardian Angel thing
In the
subways.
early 80s, they were on every subway platform. They were everywhere. And it was a great thing. People felt safe. But the problem is, again, he's just not a look at Obama sucked. But he was like, let me tell you something. You know, he had that fucking, charisma, that's the way he was. He had that charisma. He would tell you what you want to hear. And he just knew how to, he knew how to, speak and shit, so.
Yep. Sean said, hey guys, Greg.
Hey, Sean.
Did you ever meet Larry Scott?
Yes, I got pictures. I think it's on my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram, I think you got to scroll though. It's been a while. Yes, he was a nice guy. Just very straight laced, nice guy. He was a nice guy.
He was nice guy, pretty cool. All right. Yankees update score 0-0, bottom of the third.
Oh God, please don't tell me anymore. I'm shitting my pants. You know what the problem is? The pitching hasn't been that bad. The first game they lit up 3 runs. What do they don't score. You got men on. You have men in like you have bases loaded. Bases loaded. You can't get a long fly and score a run. You can't get a fucking. I mean, they had a few times that first game. They had men on second and third. They couldn't get a goddamn fucking long fly ball to get a guy in. And Goldschmidt runs so slow. You might as well fucking. I mean, it's unbelievable how Look at yesterday. Yeah. What's his name scored from first base? If that would have been the first game, you should have had fucking him. You should have had Jazz Chisholm and Ben Rice both in the first game.
Yep, you're right. Dan says Obama loved to say, "Let me be clear."
Let me be clear.
Yeah, let me be clear. He used to always say that.
Anyway,
he used to say it all the time.
But he also was full of shit. He would say shit that it was lies, and people believed him.
Yeah. I haven't seen. I know the government shut down, right? With the with Trump, what they say they shut it. What happened with that?
Trump tricked him. Trump tricked him.
What happened?
Because they didn't want. They wanted to put all that shit in there about healthcare and all. They try to see. They said no, it's not for illegal aliens. And I just watched one of the congressmen made it very clear. No, it is. They want it for illegal aliens, but they don't identify them as illegal aliens. They identify them as migrants or something or whatever the fuck. However they word it. So when they say, no, it's not for illegal aliens, it's for migrants. Same, you're fucking around with words. They didn't say migrants. They used another word. Okay. Because they don't call them illegal. You know what I mean? Like but they're here illegally. It's a whole play on words. But Trump tricked them because he knew that they were going to shut down. So now Trump gets to fire half the fucking Democrats. You know what I mean? Like that's what he really wanted too, But they want all this health care they lie like motherfuckers. It's unbelievable.
The healthcare systems are so bad.
Yeah, it is bad. It is bad. But when you're an American and you got to fucking pay out your asshole, I went through that today, Joe. I was supposed to go to the doctor because with my throat, I have something on my voice box.
I thought you were a piece of deal.
No, that's finally cleared up. That was bad, bro. Ooh.
You finished that?
That cleared like a day or two ago, Joseph. That was
really
bad.
Okay.
Yes, last week.
The swelling went down.
Last week at this time, my dick was this fat. It was unbelievable. It was fucking fat, and my dick's normally fat, but not like that. And it was bad. The whole fucking area was, had bad. Most people get jock itch on the side of their leg, and they're cracked between the balls, and they're fucking. I get it. We're going on to the fucking Peachtree guy. It was fucked up, and I had poison. I didn't know it, but I had poison ivy there too because it was scratching, and then I scratched the Ballinis because they're fucking, because you're itching down there, and you have like poison ivy under your nails or whatever. It's just all I know is
you have poison ivy on your cock.
Yeah, it's bad. Joe's bad. I had to take medicine. I go to the fucking doctor, but today I had to go to the doctor because I have that thing on my voice box, and I had throat cancer the past, so they want to check it, and they checked it last week. I think or 2 or 3 weeks ago. I told you about it. Like it's a fucking throat. So I went there today, and because now I'm on Medicare. And Medicare's a scam. It's terrible. They wanted to charge me $600. I said, I'm walking out of here. I'm not paying 600 fucking bucks. Because the Medicare is it's a scam. It's so bad. And I've been on the phone, all into the evening with it. You have no idea. That's why, and then I ran out, got food, and I came back, and that's why I just barely made it. because but the bottom story is I didn't get my fucking throat checked because I walked out, so I have to make another appointment, and I got to show them that I have this, I have a Medicare Advantage. Now it's oh, you have no idea, it's a scam. But I was supposed to get my throat scoped today. You know what I mean? See, they already scoped the saw. It's there. I was supposed to. They've been giving me medicine. I got to see now if that worked. If not, I may have to have surgery, which is bullshit. I don't want to go through all that. That's a long story, but I'm just saying you have no idea.
The dude 1983. We got Bush.
Yes, we do.
Jim's Carnival Kitchen. What's going on, Jim? Checking in. What's going on, buddy?
I think
as a Canadian, your healthcare breaks my heart. I wish you guys could just get healthcare, not have to worry about the cash to get taken care of.
Yeah,
it sucks, man.
It's bad.
Even if you have good insurance, it sucks.
The thing is if you're not a citizen and you're here not legally, you get, they'll fucking cover you, and that's the part that the Democrats want in there. There's a lot of sneaky little shit that they want in there. They also want, which they don't talk about, is they also want the whole sex change shit and all that stuff for minors. So if you're a 7-year-old boy and you want to get your cock cut off, listen to me. There's a great meme out there. It says if you're, in your late teens or you're a young adult and you feel like you want to be the opposite sex, you have mental illness. But if you're like under like 10, 12, under 10 years old and you feel like you want to be the opposite gender, your mother has mental illness. In other words, because the parents push that shit on them. No 5-year-old. No 5-year-old. I mean, I grew up with a sister. We didn't bathe together or anything. I didn't know whether girls had fucking cunts or penises. I had no idea. I never thought about it. You understand? If you said, what's the difference between a boy and a girl? I would say, girls have long hair, plays with dolls, boys play with baby. I didn't fucking know. I didn't think about that. And what 5-year-olds aren't sexualized unless your parents make you sexualized.
Joe Matarat said, I've seen the Guardian Angels in a couple of Netflix docs, Fear City and Trial by. I've always wondered, were they receiving any money or their time, or was it volunteering? No, they volunteered.
No, volunteered.
They're all volunteer people.
But they all knew martial arts and shit. They weren't pussies. He's Sliwa himself is a martial art. They all know martial arts. They used to have training camps and shit where those guys would be like, huh, 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 kung fu and shit like that, you know?
Yeah, they all knew something,
That's before jiu-jitsu was around, Some of them might have done jiu-jitsu off the slide. I don't know, but they were all used to do martial arts. They kick you in the head, because the average savage doesn't know what he's doing,
Yeah, I remember seeing them. I think it was like the time of '96 when the Yankees won the World Series. And they were around and everything, and I was there. And I remember seeing them, and they were all pretty big guys too.
Yeah, they were all martial arts, and they took no shit. And they traveled in packs, like you'd see 3 or 4 of them together at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you did. They all wore the same thing with the hat.
They all wore the red beret. That was their thing. I think they also wore red vests sometimes. I don't know, but
they wore red jacket and the red beret.
Right. He still wears that red beret when he talks.
Yes, he does.
Joe Zapata, how you doing there? Like that. That's the way he would talk. He calls everybody by their last name. He'd be on like Sean Hannity, be like, hey, Sean Hannity, let me tell you something, Sean Hannity. When I go down there, we're gonna fix the streets. We're gonna fix the people. People are gonna law enforcement. We're gonna have cops in every borough on it. And like you're looking at him, you're like, you talk like that. I can't. You lost me. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Jim's Carnivore Kitchen says we don't like socialism.
No,
we do not.
Stupid. Anybody who likes it's fucking stupid.
George said undocumented.
Right. George is the voice of reason always. They didn't say, when they say, well, illegal, when you see the Republicans talk about it, they're like, they want all illegals to get free healthcare and everything. And they're saying, we never said, no illegals. We want undocumented people. So they're like, it's a play on words, but it's still the same thing. They don't care about you getting healthcare. They care about the savages getting on healthcare. It's just fucking ridiculous. It's all because they need them to vote. That's why.
Yep. Look into private insurance. Private insurance is still expensive too.
Are you kidding me? Private insurance. When you're 65, you don't understand. When you're 65, you don't have its choice. They put you on. I was put on that shit. It's worse. It's worse. It's way worse. I had private insurance. This is way worse.
Yep. Joe Matarat said that's bullshit. If I had my way, they'd get some dough for being good Samaritans, especially in the 70s, 80s when crime was out of control in New York. Yeah.
Listen, I agree with you. You know what I mean? But I mean that that's a deal that they made, and they weren't really looking for money. But the thing is, they did make the street safer. People felt better with. You see, there's like they're there, and the criminals didn't fuck with them because they would have fucked them up.
Yep. Joe Matarazzo say, hey, yo, the show's almost over, but I always want to thank you guys. It's always great to relax with you too as I leave work. Thank you, Joe Matarazzo.
Thank you, Joe Matarazzo. Venom 123. I swear to God, I hear those names somewhere else. Where did you figure out that's great? Joe Matarazzo and Venom 123.
Well, we're wrapping up, Greg. It's been over an hour. I will actually want to thank everyone here. Ruben Sanchez, Skip, my brother. Who else? We got Ruben,
thank you all, guys.
Pablo, of course. CK, Anthony D, Amanda's lawyer, the Knight Rider, everyone in there. Greg Hoffman, thank you. Greg, thank you so much. I will call you in a little bit.
Yes, Joseph, call me. All right, guys. I love all you guys. Thank you for being here. Great show.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Bodybuilder coding. Beans on the